Hello children, today I'll explain you chapter 6, My Childhood, from your Beehive English textbook. Can you think of any scientist who have also been a statesman? APJ Abdul Kalam, whose projects in space, defense and nuclear technology guided India into the 21st century, became our 11th president in 2002. In his autobiography, Wings of Fire, he speaks of his childhood. So, in this lesson, actually, it's an extract from APJ Abdul Kalam's autobiography, Missile Man. And the name of the autobiography is Wings of Fire. In this book, he has written about himself, that how he evolved out of a very simple life and became a great man. Through his experience of his childhood, in this extract, Dr. Kalam is trying to tell us that how he struggled, how he faced hardships of life, how his luck favored him, and his life was transformed. So this particular extract can be a good example before us. We can learn a lot from this. So let's see what happens in My Childhood. I was born into a middle-class Tamil family in the island town of Rameswaram in the erstwhile Madras state. My father, Jainuddin, had neither much formal education nor much wealth. Despite these advantages, he possessed great innate wisdom and a true generosity of spirit. He had an ideal helpmate in my mother, Ashiamma. I do not recall the exact number of people she fed every day, but I am quite certain that far more outsiders ate with us than all the members of our own family put together. In this paragraph, he tells us about his parents. He says that he was born in a very simple middle class Tamil family in a small island town of Rameswaram, and this area was covered in Madras state. Earlier it was called Madras state. His father, whose name was Jainuddin, he was a very simple man. He did not get much formal education like you people are getting, and he did not even have much money. He was not a rich man, he was a very simple earning man. But still, he was a man of great wisdom. He was a man of number of good qualities. He was a very kind-hearted and very simple and generous man. And his mother, Kalam's mother, Ashiamma, she was also a very good mother, and she was a very hard-working mother. She used to feed number of people every day. She used to cook a lot of food, and apart from her family, she used to feed number of people every day. So he tells us about his parents, who were very simple, hard-working, but very wise and good parents. I was one of many children, a short boy with rather undistinguished looks, born to tall and handsome parents. So he was a very ordinary looking boy. Kalam was a very ordinary looking boy. Undistinguished means very simple, not special, very ordinary looks he had. And his parents were tall and handsome. We lived in our ancestral house. Ancestral means belonging to his ancestors, his forefathers. We lived in our ancestral house, which was built in the middle of the 19th century. It was a fairly large pakka house made of limestone and brick on the Moss Street in Rameswaram. So he used to live in a large house. It was a pakka house, his ancestral, belonging to his ancestors. My austere father used to avoid all inessential comforts and luxuries. However, all necessities were provided for in terms of food, medicine or clothes. In fact, I would say mine was a very secure childhood, both materially and emotionally. And now he tells us about his father. that his father was a very simple man, but still he was a strict one. He did not provide much comfort to his children, but all the essential necessities, all the things which are needed for a boy to grow up, all these things, good food, good medicines, good clothes, everything he provided to his children, but not much comfort or luxury. The Second World War broke out in 1939 when I was 8 years old. For reasons I have never been able to understand, a sudden demand for tamarind seeds erupted in the market. I used to collect the seeds and sell them to a provision shop on Moss Street. So now he tells that in the year 1939, when the Second World War broke out, he was hardly 8 years old. And at that time, there was a demand of tamarind seeds. Now, what is tamarind? Imli. Tamarind seeds in the market. So he used to collect the seeds and sell them to a provision shop on the Mosque Street. A day's collection would fetch me the princely sum of 1 anna, and after selling whole day the seeds, collecting the seeds whole day and selling it to a provision shop, he used to get a sum of 1 anna. My brother-in-law Jalaluddin would tell me stories about the war, which I would later attempt to trace in the headlines in Dina Money. Now he tells us about his brother-in-law, whose name was Jalaluddin. He used to tell stories to Kalam about the war, and later on he used to read those headlines in the local daily newspaper, Dina Money. Now children, I would like to tell you one thing. It is about the sum of 1 anna. In 1 rupee, there are how many annas? 16 annas. So he talks about 1 anna. 1 anna used to be a good amount of money in those days. Our area, being isolated, was completely unaffected by the war. But soon India was forced to join the Allied forces and something like a state of emergency was declared. Previously, the area of Rameswaram in which Kalam used to live was totally isolated area and it was not affected by the war. But later on, when India also joined the Allied forces, USA, UK and Russia, then India was also included in that, and then a state of emergency was declared. The first casualty, now what is a casualty? Casualty means anything, like a person or a thing, which is badly affected by a war or something. So now here we are talking about war. So the casualty of war. So the first casualty came in the form of the suspension of the train halt at Rameswaram station. So previously, the train used to stop at Rameswaram station, but now what happened that the train halt, the stoppage of the train was suspended. Now this was the first casualty. The newspaper now had to be bundled and thrown out from the moving train to the Rameswaram road between Rameswaram and Dhanuskodi. That forced my cousin Samsuddin, who distributed newspapers in Rameswaram, to look for a helping hand to catch the bundles, and as if naturally, I filled the slot. So now, because the train was not stopping, the newspapers were to be thrown from the moving train on the station, and for that, Kalam's cousin Samsuddin, who was already involved in this business, he needed some helping hand who would catch the bundles which will be thrown by Samsuddin from the moving train. So Samsuddin joined Rameswaram. Rameswaram joined Samsuddin and he started doing this work. Samsuddin helped me earn my first wages. Wages means daily earning. Half a century later, I can still feel the surge of pride in earning my own money for the first time. And now, even after 50 years, when he was remembering this incident, he admits that he felt very proud to earn his first wages that day when he was a very young boy, and he got a great satisfaction in doing this. Every child is born with some inherited characteristics into a specific socio-economic and emotional environment and trained in certain ways by figures of authority. So now he says that every child is born with a special quality and he gets training in whichever environment he is brought up. I inherited honesty and self-discipline from my father. From my mother, I inherited faith in goodness and deep kindness, and so did my three brothers and sister. So he says that although he was born with a great quality, he was quite a brilliant boy, but still there were some very good things or good qualities that he inherited from his parents, and those were the qualities of honesty and self discipline which he got from his father, and from his mother he inherited the faith in goodness and deep kindness. And not only he, but all his brothers and sisters inherited such good qualities from their parents. I had three close friends in my childhood: Ramananda Shastri, Arvindan, and Sivaprakasan. So he talks about his three friends now. All these boys were from orthodox Hindu Brahmin families. As children, none of us ever felt any difference amongst ourselves because of our religious differences in upbringing. Because Kalam was a Muslim boy and all his three best friends, Ramananda Sastri, Arvindan and Sivaprakasan, they were all Hindu boys and they were born in Hindu Brahmin families which were known to be very orthodox in those days. Here, orthodox means having belief in old and traditional customs. So, in fact, Ramananda Shastri was the son of Pakshi Lakshmana Shastri, the high priest of the Rameswaram temple. And now he tells us that what a great difference was there between them because they belonged to different communities, different religions. Kalam was a Muslim boy and all three were Hindu Brahmin boys. And especially Ramananda Shastri, he was the son of Lakshmana Shastri, who was the high priest of Rameswaram temple. Later, he took over the priesthood of the Rameswaram temple, and later on, Ramananda Shastri himself became the priest of Rameswaram temple after his father. From his father, Arvindan went into the business of arranging transport for visiting pilgrims, and Sivaprakasan became a catering contractor for the Southern Railways. So he tells us that later on his friends, they had also taken up nice professions like Ramananda Shastri. He had taken up the priesthood of Rameswaram temple after his father. Arvindan had started up or had joined his father's business of arranging transport for visiting pilgrims, and Sivaprakasan, he became a catering contractor for the Southern Railways. In this way, he tells us about his friends. During the annual Sri Sitaram Kalyanam ceremony, our family used to arrange boats with a special platform for carrying idols of the Lord from the temple to the marriage site situated in the middle of the pond called Ramatirth, which was near our house. Events from the Ramayana and from the life of the prophet were bedtime stories my mother and grandmother would tell the children in our family. Here, Kalam tells us that what kind of an environment he was brought up. There was no discrimination between Hindus and Muslims, and being a Hindu, Kalam's family used to arrange boats for Sri Sitaram Kalyanam ceremony for carrying the idols of Lord Rama to the marriage site. Although they were Muslims and this was a Hindu ceremony, but still they all unitedly celebrated such ceremonies. And he also says that his mother and grandmother, although they were Muslim ladies, but still they used to tell Kalam and his brothers and sisters at the bedtime the stories of Ramayana and the life of the Prophet. Prophet means it's an angel sort of a person who preaches the message of God to people. So his mother and grandmother used to tell stories from Ramayana and such holy books to their children. And there was no difference, there was no discrimination between Hindus and Muslims at that time, and they lived a very nice life together.